everyone, welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. In today's video I am going to show you how to create a Father's Day card. Basically, I was kind of experimenting with ideas and this is kind of what I came up with, and I am going to use it in a card format. So it is going to be a very easy tutorial. These are all my materials. I am only using one brush, some paper from the kitchen, Indigo, this is what I'm going to be using, Indigo, masking fluid, and I have this card that I bought on Amazon. I bought like a whole bunch of watercolor cards and they came in kind of like this, where it's watercolor paper. It comes in its own envelope and its own little plastic envelope, and it works great. So as always, the link to all the materials are in the description below. So let's jump right into the tutorial. So the first thing that I'm going to use, I'm just using like the back side of a plate, and usually masking fluid comes in a jar, but I just so happen to have it in pen form. And I'm just going to put some right here. And I am actually using a flat brush, like a square brush. So I am using this to create the letters. Basically, I did this and I went over with this masking fluid and I masked the letters out. So that is what I'm going to do. So very simple, I'm just going to mask out the word dad. So make sure to wash your brush with warm water and a little bit of soap so it doesn't ruin your brush. So go ahead and wash it right away and make sure you wait until this is 100% dry. Okay, so I had to wait about 10 minutes or so for this to be dry, and it's a little bit sticky, and as you can see, it's a little bit transparent. So now the next step is to create some sort of a sky with clouds. I am going to use a Raphael brush. It is a natural bristles and it is a very soft brush. And of course I am going to use my Indigo plate as per the usual. So I'm just kind of doing this. For contrast, I am just adding a little bit more indigo here and there just to give the sky a little bit of contrast. Now while it is wet, I am grabbing a piece of paper, like paper towel, and I am like crumpling it, and I am going to create the cloud shapes, kind of like this. I think that will be enough, and I am going to let it dry for a good 5 minutes before I continue on to the next step. Okay, now that my background, or at least the bottom part of my card, is dry, I'm going to create a little bit of mountains to give it a little bit of a more diverse kind of background instead of just clouds. And again, I am using the same brush and also Indigo. And I'm just gonna go ahead really lightly, maybe it's a little bit too much, so a little bit of water, and very lightly I'm creating like this kind of background mountain. Great, so now I'm gonna let this dry, add a little bit more of a second layer of a mountain, and I'll continue with the next step. Okay, now that this layer of the mountain is dry, we're gonna do a second layer very, very lightly right here. So while this mountain dries, we can go ahead and remove this masking fluid, and I am literally just going to do it with my fingers, and that's going to be just fine. So I think that looks great, but if you want to go ahead with a smaller brush and like align the letters to make them read better, you can go ahead and do that, but I am not going to do that. I'm going to leave it like this. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to paint kind of this kite that'll run through like this. I believe maybe something like that. I'm going to try and go ahead and do that. So I'm using the same brush and I am using Indigo as well. I am keeping it within the same color because I like simplicity and monochromatic painting. So I'm just going to keep it, but you guys can use any color you want. So I'm just going to keep it this way to keep it simple. Something that I had not mentioned before, one of the ideas that I had was to put a little bit of a picture here. So I am going to leave enough space to put a picture maybe right here. Once that's dry, I am going to then put my kite somewhere out here, and I am going to sort of do the kite going here and my people right here, like my dad and my child right here. And that is going to be all, but I need to know kind of where the card is going to go. By the way, this is my dad, this is me, this is my sister, and my other sister is not in this picture, unfortunately, but this is one of the only pictures that I have that are small, so I'm going to use that. But so my kite is gonna go somewhere here, and it really is just a simple shape, like nothing too fancy. Just kind of like if you do these little lines, just kind of represents movement. And I'm gonna go ahead, it's kind of dry. I'm gonna go ahead and drag a line kind of like this, and we all know that kites have this sort of like string thing. It's very simple, really, just kind of that'll do, like that'll be enough. Now I want to say this is dry, and I'm going to give you guys a close-up of how I draw people or how I paint people in a very, very simple way. So the way I learn how to paint people is just simple shapes. So I'm gonna go ahead and do maybe the head kind of right here, just a little oval. Then these are the shoulders, and then I'm gonna go ahead and drag the body down. It's like a long body really. And then these are the legs, and that's just sort of where it ends. And this dad is going to go ahead and have a little bit of a t-shirt, kind of like this, just so we hide the mountain a little bit. Then he's going to have this other arm right here that he's going to hold with his child. So that's the child's arm. Now the child is going to be right here, and again he has shoulders and he has a smaller body, of course, and we're just going to drag kind of like a smaller shape. He also has the hand holding the kite, kind of like this, and they both sort of have like a ground to stand on. And if we do kind of like this, sort of looks like the child is looking at the dad a little bit in a way. And add a little bit more of a ground, kind of like this. This is kind of like a dry brush technique where we create texture, and that is all. Okay, so all I have to do is kind of glue down my little bit of my small picture. So I just have a little bit of tape that I am just gonna go ahead and do this. Put it here. And that's all. Like, maybe you have to wait a little bit for this to dry, but you can go ahead and save your card, put it in your little envelope, and here. There you go. And you have a Father's Day card. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions about the materials, about the techniques, please let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in next week's video. Okay, bye.